If you were raised by a single mother, I feel like you'll truly understand what it is that I'm trying to put across in this video. The feeling of not truly knowing what it means to be a man. You can't always explain it and you might not always feel it, but something deep down inside of you feels like it's missing. It's not love, it's not care, it's not sacrifice, but it's that feeling of direction. That feeling of absence doesn't all show up at once. It shows up in the way that you present yourself, the way that you speak, the way that you handle pressure, even in the way that you see yourself. Being raised by a single mother as a boy is tough. I'm not talking about in a dramatic sense, I mean quietly tough. Especially if you had no brother around or if there was no male role model to guide you through life. For me, I didn't truly start learning how to be a man until my mum passed away. And that's when it hit me, how unprepared I was, how much guidance I'd missed, and how much I had to learn. I want to make something very clear here. This isn't me discrediting single mothers, because single mothers are some of the strongest people on this earth. But that strength doesn't always equate to masculinity. This isn't about blame, it's just about the reality. When you're raised by a single mother, especially with no male role models around, you're not taught certain things. And that's not because she's failed, but it's because she can't teach you the things that she's never lived. So without realising, you start to adopt these feminine traits that don't serve a man in the long term. You become overly agreeable, you start to seek validation, you avoid confrontation, you don't articulate yourself in a well manner. You start to feel so deeply but don't understand how to deal with their emotions and actually express them fully. And the confusing part is, if it hasn't hit you yet, nothing feels wrong. You just feel like you're drifting through life and you're functioning like normal. For me, social media became a massive lifeline because it allowed me to observe and view these masculine figures. Not that they were perfect, but it instilled them values into me, the things of purpose, discipline and confidence. I didn't copy everything that I've seen in these men and I didn't idolise them, but I took pieces, I took the traits, the standards, and I tried to implement them positive things that I found in them into myself. And that's what this video is about. If you were raised by a single mother, this video isn't here to soften you, it's here to set them foundations. The first thing I want to talk about is eye contact. Strong eye contact isn't about dominance, it's about showing your presence. When you avoid eye contact, you're unconsciously communicating uncertainty, not just to them, but to yourself. This doesn't mean staring people down, it means being present without retreating. The more you practice this, the more your posture changes, your voice steadies, and your nervous system calms. Masculinity starts with presence. The next step that I want to talk about might sound a bit stupid, but it's taking lead in the small moments. So when I go out to a restaurant with my partner, I'll kind of people watch and observe different families and couples. I'll see them come into the restaurant, they'll sit down, they'll kind of discuss between themselves what it is that they want to order. The waiter will come over and then the woman ends up ordering. In my opinion, that should be the man that takes that lead and takes charge and finds out from everyone what they're wanting to get, and then speaks to the waiter and discusses with them what they actually want to order. So my advice to you is, next time you go out to a restaurant, have that thing of you're finding out from everyone, whether it's your family, whether it's your partner, what it is they want to eat. And then when the waiter comes over, have a little discussion with them, ask them how their day is going, show that you're confident, and then let them know what it is that you're actually wanting to eat. I know it might sound literally minute, but these small building blocks are the thing that will build your confidence, and it will give you that leadership in yourself. The next lesson I want to talk about is standing when shaking another man's hand. The thing is, as men, we don't always communicate through words, we'll communicate through action. So even the little thing of giving a little head nod to give that sign of respect is a massive way that we communicate. Me as a manager in logistics, I come across maybe 100, 200 people a day, and something that I've basically installed into myself and that I try to implement into every day that I go into work is going up to people and shaking their hands and asking them how their day is going, or just a little bit of communication. I think that always puts yourself across in such a good light because it shows that you're giving respect to people, and in turn over time they'll give that respect back to you. One of the biggest lessons as a man that I can give to you is learning to articulate yourself in a well manner. Before I went through puberty, my voice was very high pitch, and then I went through puberty and ended up with this. So it's quite a struggle for me having a deep voice, learning how to communicate with people. I ended up mumbling a lot and people just couldn't understand what it was that I was saying. So my focus was to learn how to communicate in a normal way so that people could understand what it was that I was saying. The way that I went about this is I watched YouTube videos, I listened to audiobooks, I started reading books. And not only do books give you knowledge, they also teach you how to speak in a way. Because you're learning new words, you start to understand the cadence that you should be speaking in, when to speed up, when to slow down. And not only does it give you that, but what speaking does for you and articulating yourself in a well manner gives to you is, in the real world, it puts you across so well. If you're having an interview for a job, the first thing they're going to see from you is the way that you speak and the way you conduct yourself. And being able to use certain words or the way that you cadence your voice, it puts you across in a very, very good light. So one advice that I can give to you is start to understand how it is that you should be speaking and what cadence and what level you should be speaking on. One of the biggest lessons that I feel like I missed out on as a child was having purpose implemented into me. It wasn't at fault to my mum, because I feel like she was in a survival mindset at the time, so she didn't really have time to focus on implementing that into me. But what I've learned over the last 5 to 6 years is I had to ignite that fire in myself and have that direction and purpose and drive towards something that I wanted to focus on to achieve in life. I feel like as a human being, even man or woman, you need to have something that wakes you up every morning to work towards. Otherwise, you're just going to lay there depressed because you've got nothing that you want to actually achieve in life. But as a man, whether it's a gym, whether it's work, whether it's your own business that you want to focus on, I feel like you need to find that thing and have that tunnel vision and that laser focus towards that goal that you want to achieve. Because it makes you have that hunger and desire that I want to achieve this, I want to achieve that. Not that it will make you happy just because you've achieved this thing, but because it gives you direction and allows you to focus on something. One of the biggest things that I feel like men are lacking in today's day and age is having emotional control. I think one of the biggest issues nowadays with men is having anger issues. This is the reason that we see men beating up their wives or ending up in prison or not understanding how to deal with their emotions, so they end up committing suicide. It's that thing of being able to self-reflect and take a step back and truly understand why it is that you're feeling what you're feeling, how you can go about what you're feeling, and actually taking action upon it. One of the things that I feel like has helped me a lot is meditating, because I feel like what meditation does is it allows you to sit down, close your eyes, take a deep breath, and actually analyse the thoughts that are going through your mind. Like I said, if you're just allowing these thoughts every day to build up and not actually take any action and deal with them, you are just going to implode. So meditating, what it does is it allows you to take a step back, and these thoughts will slowly start to come to you, but you'll be able to dissect them and actually have an understanding to what it is that you need to be doing to take away these thoughts. So learning to deal with your emotions is a massive, massive thing. Even if it's going into the world of work or trying to go into business or dealing with different people's emotions, everyone's going through certain things and everyone has their own emotions that they're going through with. But if you start to understand and reflect, you'll be able to deal with people so much better because you're able to deal with yourself so much better. If you were to take any lesson from this video, it'd be this one. If you've been through traumas in life, whether they're small, they're big, whatever it is that you've been through, you need to try and find a way to release some emotions. Whether that's talking in therapy, whether it's talking to friends and family, whether it's going to the gym, whether it's like we just touched on, going through meditation, whatever it is, you need to try and find your vice to try and release these emotions and these thoughts. As a man, if you're wanting to strive towards a purpose and you're wanting to go in one direction, if you're continuously having these thoughts, they'll throw you off track. They won't allow you to focus on what it is that you're wanting to focus on. You need to try and get rid of these ruminating thoughts, this overthinking or whatever it is that's troubling you day to day. You can't allow these thoughts to have a grasp and a hold on you because it won't allow you to live your life. Even if it's in your relationship, like I said before, if you're looking to build towards something, you won't be able to focus on these things because you've constantly got these thoughts building up in your head of, am I good enough to do this? Or I've been through this, I've been through that, I'm not good enough to get to that point. Everyone in life has been through things. People achieve things. So why can't that be you? But you need to try and find something that allows you to release of these thoughts. For me, a massive thing was going through therapy. I feel like in my mind I had so many tangled up thoughts, and what it allowed me to do is have a third party there that I could speak to about these things I'm thinking, and they were just able to untangle it for me and give me so much of a better understanding and better perspective on these things that I was thinking, and actually made me realise that a lot of it wasn't as serious as it seemed. But when you're allowing it to continually build up day on day and not actually deal with these things, it just becomes a massive thing, and then you end up just exploding. You don't know how to understand and release these emotions. So my number one advice that I can give to you is try your best to find your vice. Try and find a release for these things that you're constantly thinking. Something that I touched on earlier in the video that I believe is quite a feminine trait is seeking validation. As a man, you shouldn't feel the need to continuously get a pat on the back every time you've done something minute. Fair enough, if you've achieved something massive that you've been working and grinding towards over time, you should have some form of celebration. You should feel something towards that. You should be focused on your goals and your purpose and your direction. If you're stopping and not actually focusing on them things, and you feel like, oh, I need to stop because I don't feel like this person's approved me or that person's given me the validation that I need, you're not going to get anywhere in life. There's a quote that stuck to me when it comes to validation. It comes from a footballer. If you don't watch football, you might not know him, but if you do, you'll know who Roy Keane is, and you'll probably know what quote it is that I'm talking about. But he's talking about a goalkeeper who the other pundits are talking about who's made a few saves, and they ask him what's his opinion on it, and all he says is he's doing his job. And every time I feel like this voice creeps up into me and I feel like my ego comes in between me doing something and me achieving something, that voice continuously plays in my head. You're just doing your job, you're just doing your job. So I get on with it. I'm not stuck thinking, oh, I feel like I need someone to say, well done for this, well done for that. It won't get you far in life. You're just stood there and not actually striving towards what it is that you need to strive towards because you're waiting on someone to give you some form of approval. The final lesson that I want to give to you is, if you have been raised by a single mother, don't let that be the thing that holds you back. Don't become a victim to it and think that, oh, just because I've been through this hardship, I can't do what other people can do. I've not had a dad, so I don't understand how it is to be a man. You need to have that hunger inside you and understand that you can gain on this knowledge. If you feel like you're lacking as a man, there's things out there, there's resources out there that allow you to figure out what it is to be a man. There's trials and tribulations that you'll go through in your own life that will give you an understanding and allow you to think, okay, this is how I need to deal with this is how I need to deal with that. You'll adapt to the situations that you're in and you'll figure it out. There's a lot of people out there that have been through a lot more than you and me, but they've still found their way out of the gutter and they've found a way to pave their way through life and find a way out. That thing that you're looking for is there at the end of the tunnel, but you have to keep striving towards it. You have to figure out what it is that you want to do, and you have to be able to become that man and figure it out. The fact that you're watching this video and you're understanding that this could be you is a massive thing. It means that you will get there at one point, and you need to truly, truly believe that. Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, and I'll see you in a bit.